Hello students, let us begin our discussion on Unit 4, Agricultural Trade. I am Dr. Deepali Bide, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Geography, TG Ruparel College, Mumbai. In this topic, we will be discussing about the role of WTO in agricultural trade practices, what is the impact of liberalization, privatization and globalization on agricultural market. At the end of this topic, we will understand about agricultural trade. We will also learn the role of WTO in agricultural trade practices, and you will be able to analyze the impact of liberalization, privatization, and globalization on agricultural markets. So, if you go back to the history of how exactly trade started, it was during the times of the Roman civilization, where Romans they grew crops solely for the purpose of trade, and therefore agricultural trade has a very long history. And what does it involve? It involves buying and selling of products which are produced through forestry and farming industries. So when we look at the agricultural goods that are traded internationally, it consists of food products like cereals, vegetables, fruits, which make up 80% of the total volume of agricultural goods that are traded. Similarly, various animal products like meat, skin, wool, hair, etc., along with lumber, bamboo, cotton, silk, tobacco, etc., they also form a very important proportion of the agricultural market. And agricultural trade gives an opportunity for the poor, underdeveloped, developing nations to develop their economies. But it so happens that many of these countries they lack infrastructure to distribute the products to a satisfactory or acceptable level, and therefore they find it difficult to sustain in the competition because of high tariff structure which is normally placed on the exported goods. So now let us see what is the role of WTO in agricultural trade practices. So if you look at in the last few decades, agricultural trade has been undergoing a steady decline, and in 1998, agricultural trade accounted for only 10.5% of the total merchandise trade. And when trade in services is taken into account, agriculture's share in global exports is only 8.5%. So WTO, that is World Trade Organization, is the only global international organization that deals with the rules of trade between nations, deals with negotiation of trade agreements, and it also looks into settlement of trade disputes. So it is a global organization looking into various aspects of international trade. So WTO took steps to address the subsidies and high trade barriers which the agricultural trade because of which the agricultural trade was distorted, and it also aims to establish a fair trading system so that the market access is increased and the farmers livelihood all over the world is improved, because we know that agriculture or farming is an occupation which where many poor farmers are identified. So to uplift their status, their level of income, these objectives of WTO will help. WTO agreement on agriculture came into force in 1995, which was a very significant step towards reforming agricultural trade to make it equitable and more competitive. So, the role of the Agricultural Committee is to look into the oversee implementation of the agreement. In 2015, they adopted a historic decision which was to abolish agricultural export subsidies and has set rules for other forms of farm export support. Now, how exactly WTO was born? So, number of negotiations that were held from 1986 to 1994, and in the Uruguay round negotiations, it was clear that the causes of disorder in world agriculture went beyond import access problems, and which was the traditional focus of the GATT negotiations. So I'm sure you are aware of the existence of GATT prior to WTO, is General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, which was looking into these negotiations about trade and various aspects of trade. So on 1st January 1995, the Agreement on Agriculture came into force. And the focus of Uruguay Round Reform Program was to establish a fair and market-oriented agricultural trading system. So this reform program comprised of specific commitments to reduce support and protection in the areas of domestic support, export subsidies, and market access, and through the establishment of strengthened and more operationally effective GATT rules and disciplines. So, what are the features of these WTO agreements? So, in principle, all WTO agreements and understandings on trade in goods apply to agriculture. So, it includes customs valuation, it includes import licensing procedures, it includes pre shipment inspection, it also includes emergency safeguard measures, subsidies, and any other technical barriers to trade. Now, the implementation period for the country for specific commitments was 6 years, which started in 1995, and developing countries were given some kind of flexibility, which was extended to 10 years for implementation. Now, let us see the impact of liberalization on agricultural market. So, as we know that India adopted the new economic policy in July 1991, and what are the features of this new economic policy implemented in 1991? It focused on liberalization, both internal and external of the economy, extending extended and focused on privatization, redirecting scarce public sector resources to areas where the private sector is unlikely to enter. Similarly, globalization of economy and a market friendly state. And therefore, these are in combination also known as LPG policy, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So, India, being a founder member of the World Trade Organization, is committed in moving in this direction of liberalization of trade in agricultural commodities. Now, agricultural commodities are sold by the farmers through four marketing channels, which consist of direct to consumers, where the farmers are directly in contact with the consumers, or it is through wholesalers and retailers, or it is through public agencies, or it is through processors. So, what is the role of government? The government takes part in agricultural trade through purchase of agricultural commodities under the MSP program, Minimum Support Program. Similarly, procurement of food grains, monopoly purchase, open market purchases of commodities. So, this is how the government is involved in this whole agricultural trade. Now, what are the effects of liberalization on agriculture. So these neoliberal economic reform strategy involves various measures which specifically have affected the rural areas. So actual decline in central government revenue expenditure on rural development. This was one of the effect. There has been reduction in public investment in agriculture, including in research and extension. Similarly, very substantial decline in public infrastructure and energy investments. There is reduced spread and rising prices of the public distribution system for food. Financial liberalization measures, including redefining priority sector, lending by banks, which effectively reduce the availability of rural credit and thus made farm investment more expensive and more difficult, especially for small farmers. Now, liberalization and removal of restrictions on internal trade in agricultural commodities across states within India. Liberalization of external trade, first through lifting restrictions on exports of agricultural goods, and then by shifting from quantitative restrictions to tariffs on imports of agricultural commodities. What has been the impact of trade liberalization on agricultural market? So, with the beginning of trade liberalization, the international agricultural markets have undergone changes, like important changes in food consumption patterns continued. Similarly, important changes were observed in farm production, with modern or industrial type agriculture and livestock production moving to larger scale. So these are the changes that we all are also observing around us. When you go to the market for buying vegetables, now along with the local vegetables these days, you also get exotic vegetables or fruits in the market. And they also have become a very important part of our food culture. With a decline in transportation cost, profound changes in agriculture markets were observed. So this includes a decrease in the cost of marine transportation, an extension in roads that penetrate into natural areas for resource extraction, established new locations of production also. Now, there were numerous impacts of improved transportation on biodiversity too. Obviously, it will also have an impact on the local environment. Now, what is the impact of privatization on agricultural market? So, privatization is defined as the transfer of ownership and control of public sector units to private individuals or companies. So, the objectives of privatization are to strengthen the private sector, government to concentrate on areas like education and infrastructure. Now, what are the advantages of privatization? There is more efficiency, there is absence of political interference, because now it is also the private sector or the industry which is looking into production and various other aspects. Quality of the service is maintained, systematic marketing is utilized, there is use of modern technology, there is accountability. People can ask questions if the work is not done properly, and answers have to be given. Therefore, accountability, creation of competitive environment, there is more innovation, new research and development. Focus is on optimum utilization of resources, trying to minimize wastage, and also focus on having access to better infrastructure. So, age old methods of, say, infrastructure can be overcome by making or giving access to better, new, advanced infrastructure. Now, as there are advantages, there are also disadvantages. Like we find that there is exploitation of labor even by the private sector. There can be abuse of power by executives. There has been unequal distribution of wealth and income. It can result into lack of job security for employees. Coming to the impact of globalization on agricultural market. So under globalization, especially after 1990, farmers in India have been exposed to new challenges. So we know that India is an important producer of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute, spices. And in spite of this, our agricultural products are not capable of competing with the developed countries because of the highly subsidized agriculture in those countries. So in these countries, the farmers they get subsidies from the government. So automatically the prices will be different, and therefore when it comes to the global market, these products have to face Indian products have to face tough competition from the agricultural products coming from the developed countries. Although India is the second largest producer of food in the world, the average annual growth rate of its agriculture is very slow. So before liberalization of the economy in the decade of 1980s, it was 3.1%. Now, several factors have been responsible for this fall in the growth rate, like lack of credit, inadequate irrigation cover, indebtedness among the farming community. In the earlier topic, we have discussed about these problems of Indian agriculture. So, many farmers, poor farmers in India, they don't have access to capital, and therefore they depend on the local money lenders. So they can charge very high rate of interest, and that can have a negative impact on the capital investment of the farmers in agriculture. Similarly, continuing use of outdated or obsolete technology, improper use of inputs, and decline in public investments. So this is a reality which we are actually facing in the country. Now, there was a decline in overall growth of employment during 1993-94 to 2004-2005, mainly due to fall in creation of employment opportunities in agriculture. With globalization, farmers were forced to shift from traditional crops to export-oriented cash crops such as cotton and tobacco. But these crops needed far more inputs in terms of fertilizers, pesticides, and water. So, if you look at overall, we have discussed about what is agricultural trade, what are its characteristics, a little mention about the history of agricultural trade, then more significantly, what is the role of WTO on agriculture, on trade in agriculture, and what is the impact of liberalization, privatization, and globalization policies on agriculture. For further reference and reading, please refer to the notes provided by IDOL. You can also check your progress through the questions and the exercises that are mentioned at the end of Unit 4. Thank you.